And I was speaking with a guy recently that kind of started to trade supply and demand, and he ended up sticking to it for the long term. But at some point, when he was learning that, he had this feeling or this thought to move to something else because that was too hard. Now, he didn't listen to that feeling. That's the key. Good morning, traders. Welcome back to Mexico City. I'm on my way to get breakfast now. And I want to talk today about the 3 biggest lies that profitable trader wants you to believe. We'll talk about that next. And I have some plan to explore a cool area today. Okay, so let me interrupt this here right away and share with you the 3 biggest lies in trading. First one, and this one is pretty basic. Like everyone talks about that all the time, and I don't want to state the obvious for the other lies. But that one has to do with the fact that you need to find the perfect thing to make money, the perfect strategy. And that if you're wrong, meaning if you lose money on a trade, you're doing something wrong, which is not the case. You could be doing everything fine, perfectly well, on point, in time, perfectly well, and you lose money. And that's pretty much the only job trading in which you can do that. The other jobs, you perform well, you get paid more, but not in trading. Although over time, that will keep up, and usually you will be paid more to respect your plan and to stick to your process. Now, not in the beginning and in the now, always, for sure. So you need to learn to flip this. And I'm very cautious when I hear people say, oh, I have this way of trading and you need to learn this. Like someone was telling me a few months ago in an interview, or you need to learn fundamentals. You don't need to master all the parts to become a good trader. What matters most is to focus on what you know and to increase your knowledge on that and try to make this work. If it doesn't work, then you might need to grab something outside. But don't try to learn everything at once and don't try to learn all the other parts. And most importantly, this is really crucial. Don't be seduced by other people. Like you see these people selling a method or something new and they want to teach you. And although this might be good for you, understand the difference between learning more about a topic you need to learn about and learning more about something you think will make you successful. Okay, there's a big difference. And oftentimes what you need the most is just to talk with someone, some guidance, some one-to-one contact to be able to examine what you do now, know what you're doing wrong, and make an action plan on what you need to work on at this point. Okay, that's also important. And that's why we have the Desire to Trade Academy. And I just added some people to the teams to make sure that you guys will get more support, more coaching calls, more one-on-one, more group calls to make this process better. Okay, so if you want to check it out, it's linked below. But if you don't need it, you don't need it. Up to you. So end of the plug. So now that we've stated the obvious, lie number 2 is a little bit different. And this one is like deep in my heart because I don't agree with that. But people say sometimes, since banks trade Forex, right, they move the market. And since they trade this way, then that means you have to trade this way. And to me, that's complete nonsense. Some people say you need to learn to trade like banks. Well, in my opinion, that's a way to sell you a different course, to sell you another course, and sell you a secret method that no one has. And I've seen this like promoted quite a lot these past years. And it doesn't mean that it's bad, but understand that you could trade like banks, you could learn to trade exactly the way they do, and you could lose money. You could learn to trade exactly like them, and you could win money. Now, on the other hand, you could learn to trade in a different way and lose money. You could learn to trade the same way and earn money and make a living. So there's no way to trade. There's no like one way trade like this, like the banks, because they trade this way, and you will make a fortune. You could do that, or you could not do that. But understand that you have the choice. What this comes down to is what you're comfortable with, what you prefer, what makes sense to you. If what makes sense to you is using indicators, then please use them. If it doesn't make a single sense and you cannot understand them for life, don't use them and learn to trade like banks with these reports, in these fundamentals, and these tools, and whatever you want. But whatever you decide, stick to it. And if in any case you cannot stick to it, like for whatever big, major, life-threatening reason, then move to something else. But don't try to just change because you're hearing another advice or a saying from a different person that is different from what you thought or what you've been told in the past. Just keep in mind what you've been told in the past could be false. I totally understand that. There's been people teaching false stuff out there. But keep in mind that if you've learned something and you've been applying it without success, it's not a reason to change. It might be a reason to just more work harder, like we all have to do, and tweak it. Like all traders have to work hard at some point. They have to go forward. And I was speaking with a guy recently that kind of started to trade supply and demand, and he ended up sticking to it for the long term. But at some point, when he was learning that, he had this feeling or this thought to move to something else because that was too hard. Now, he didn't listen to that feeling. That's the key. He went to work harder on supply and demand to master it, to learn it better, and to make it work. And in the end, that's what differentiates the bad traders to the trader that goes from struggling to good. and to create. And that's the biggest difference. So that's, in short, lie number 2. The fact that you have to trade like banks. Big lie here. And lie number 3. I'm gonna make this, with your permission, a little bit bigger than trading. Because we could trade, we could be trading for a living. But there's lessons or myths or lies that apply as much to trading as to other things outside trading. Like business, like personal development, like whatever you think about. So lie number 3 is plain and simple the principle of being a self-made millionaire. Now we think of people like Steve Jobs, like Elon Musk, like whoever you want to think about, George Soros, as like this one person that became successful, that became super good at what they do. Now what that principle doesn't take into account is the fact that there were a bunch of people behind them that helped them succeed. They had a team behind them. And without that team, most of the things they did wouldn't be possible. When it comes to trading, I'm not talking here about having a coach or paying for a course or a trading mentor necessarily. But I want you to think about the people behind you. Who's behind your back? Who's helping you with your goals? And if the answer is only myself, like only you, then you need to create a team around it. That's going to be a priority from now on. Like when I think of my trading, even though I'm the only one creating my plan, the only one trading, the only one doing my journal, planning my trades, I still have a team behind me. I still have a bunch of people helping me to move forward. People I talk to like regularly. Traders, some are psychologists, some only have good ideas, some are my students. They also give me ideas and I can teach them, and that helps me at the same time. But those people are surrounding me. Like if I become very successful in a field later, you won't see people behind me, but you'll sure see that I became successful. But I also have these people behind me to kind of back me up and to help me move forward. Without those people, things would be much harder, and you cannot just do everything yourself. That's way too much time, way too much effort. And in trading, you have to sometimes. But you don't have to be the one coming up with all the ideas. You don't have to be the one creating the process. Like that's not necessarily you. That could be someone from your team. That could be a trader you know, or someone around you that you talk to. So if you think about it deep down and you find out that you have no one helping you trade, and I'm talking to people you have contact with, ideally one-on-one, then things will be harder. And I'm about to guess for 99.9% of people that you will get to a point later where you have a good team around you and then you succeed. This doesn't have to be people you pay. It could be people you know. And I don't pay like anyone now for my trading, although I've done that in the past. But I still have a team around me. And if you guys want to get more into that later, we could talk about this more. But those are the 3 biggest lies in trading that a lot of traders want to believe. It sure sells courses. It's sure bringing interest to people. But keep in mind that I'm here to share the truth and to help you more than to kind of push you to buy something. And that's always what I'll be about. So to recap quickly, first myth, thinking that there's a perfect system you can find out there or develop yourself. Wrong thing for sure. Second one, the idea that you need to trade like banks to make money. And third, the principle of the self-made millionaire or self-made successful profitable trader. Hope that makes sense. Now let's get back to the day outside. I give this place almost every day for like the past weeks. People start to know what I want and what I like, so it's pretty cool. But it's a pretty good place. That's why I come back all the time. Okay, so next up is a coffee shop I quite like to do some work this morning. Let's head there. Okay, so a couple of hours later, followed by a quick nap in the Uber to come here, came to this place called Coyoacan. And I've been recommended that place a few times by different people. I thought it would come. I don't know why people recommend this place too much, but that's what we'll figure out right now. Somebody did told me about a park here in Coyoacan. I think I found it. It's pretty cool. Not that big, but there's a lot of people for that park. Well, it really has a cool vibe with all these restaurants, bars, and kind of cafes around the streets. A lot of streets also around the area, which is nice, gives it a nice feeling. And now we made it to, I believe, the church. So what someone was telling me is that all these kind of small districts of Mexico City were all before different villages, and this one was one, so that's why they all have a different church and a different kind of atmosphere and vibe. It's pretty cool. This one is pretty nice also. Have a look. Alright guys, as you can see, I've been back. It's been a good afternoon to go to see this place, Coyoacan. I really liked it. It's kind of really different than what I've seen so far in the city, so that's kind of good. By the way, I've been buying these kind of boxes of fruit almost every day in Mexico City. They're like big, they cost only like 20 pesos. It's really cheap. So kind of healthy, which is always good. Now I'll finish it here for today guys. Thanks for watching, I appreciate it. Comment below what you thought once again. If I can help in any way, let me know as well down below in the comment section. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Ciao.